Commander Valkras leaned back in his command chair, 3 of his 7 limbs tapping an irregular rhythm against the polished console. The soft violet glow of the bridge lighting caught the fine scales of his skin, making them shimmer as he studied the projection of a small blue-green planet hanging in the void before them. "So this," he rumbled with a trace of disdain, "is the famous Earth. Hardly impressive, wouldn't you say?" First Officer Pollara glanced up from her station, her luminous eyes blinking right, middle, left in sequence. "The reports indicate the dominant species call themselves humans. Bipedal, carbon-based organisms. Physically unremarkable. No claws, no armor, minimal musculature, thin skin, and fragile bones." "Truly terrifying," Valkras replied dryly, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "I'm positively quaking in my exoskeleton," the bridge crew answered with a chorus of clicks and whistles, their amusement echoing off the walls of the Galactic Dominion flagship Inevitable Conquest. Science Officer Jorksel raised several tentacles as he added, "What's truly baffling is that they've survived at all. No regenerative abilities, limited senses, primitive neural processing. By comparison, even the Glocks, barely capable of operating a gravity drive, seem advanced." Vraz shifted his massive bulk, revealing triple rows of serrated teeth in what passed for a smile among his kind. "The High Council wants us to follow standard first contact protocols, assess threat, evaluate technology, measure resource potential." Communications Officer Dresna snorted, her nasal ridges flaring. "From what our probes show, humans still burn fossil fuels. They've barely managed to touch their own moon. The biggest threat they pose is to themselves." "Nevertheless," Valkras said, rising to his full 3-meter height, "orders are orders. Prepare a communication probe with the standard translation matrix and universal greeting package. Let's see if these humans can even comprehend interstellar communication." Polara's fingers flew over her console. "Probe will be ready for deployment in 20 minutes, Commander." "Good. Tactical Officer Muvax?" The heavily armored officer turned from his station. "Sir?" "Arm the primary weapons systems just in case." Muvax's mouthplates clicked in confusion. "Sir, against these primitives?" "Protocol," Valkras replied, his rasping laugh echoing across the bridge. "Always protocol. Besides, it's not like we'll need them." 3 standard days later, the humor had vanished. Commander Valkras stood rigid, staring at the holographic display, his primary heart thudding faster than usual. "Run that analysis again," he ordered, his voice tight. Jorksel's appendages moved furiously over his console. "I've run it 7 times, Commander. The results are consistent. The humans responded to our communication probe in under 12 hours. They not only deciphered our translation matrix, but replied in 27 Dominion languages, including 3 that weren't even in the greeting package." "Impossible," Valkras muttered. "They're supposed to be primitive." "That's not all," Pollara added, her voice uncharacteristically unsteady. "They've requested a face-to-face meeting and provided coordinates on their moon." "Our scans showed no permanent settlements there," Valkras said. "There weren't," Jorksel confirmed. 3 days ago." A heavy silence fell across the bridge, broken only by the steady hum of the ship's systems. "They built a lunar facility in 3 days?" Muvax asked, disbelief evident. "It appears so," Pollara replied. "Environmental domes, landing pads, what look like defensive installations, all constructed since we entered their solar system." Valkras turned sharply to the tactical station. "Threat assessment?" Muvax shifted uneasily, his armored plates scraping against one another. "Unclear, Commander. The installations don't match any known weapons signatures. They could be harmless communication arrays or something else entirely." "I don't like unknowns," Valkras growled. "Dresna, any communications from other Dominion vessels that might have encountered this species?" Dresna's ridges darkened as she scanned her console. "None, Commander. We're the first Dominion ship here. However," she hesitated, "I've detected unusual signal patterns throughout the system since our arrival. The humans are watching us closely." Valkras paced the bridge, his claws leaving faint grooves in the metal floor. "Options?" "We could leave," Pollara suggested. Mark this system for further study and return to the High Council. And tell them we were intimidated by hairless bipeds? Valkras snarled. I think not. We could accept their invitation, Yorksel offered tentatively. A small delegation, heavily armed, of course, or we skip the pleasantries and show them Dominion superiority now, Muvax interjected, combat instincts flaring. A targeted strike on their major population centers? No, Valkras cut him off sharply. The High Council was explicit. Assessment first, action second. He drummed his claws against his armored chest. Prepare a shuttle. I will lead the delegation personally. Muvax, select 6 of your best security personnel. Jorksel, you'll assess their technology. Dilara, you have command of the inevitable conquest while I'm gone. Commander, Polara objected. Protocol dictates the commanding officer should not. I'm well aware of protocol, Valkras snapped. But something about this situation feels unusual. These humans have already defied our expectations once. I want to see them for myself. The shuttle descended toward the lunar surface, Earth gleaming like a sapphire against the endless black of space. Commander Valkras gazed out the viewport, his expression unreadable. Preliminary scans of the facility show approximately 50 human life signs, Jorsel reported. Environmental conditions inside their domes match their planetary norms. Breathable for us with minor filtration. Weapons? Valkras asked. None detected, Jorksel admitted reluctantly. But their technology exhibits properties our scanners struggle to categorize. Significant. Anomalies. Valkras's claws tightened against the armrest. Interesting. The shuttle cut through the thin lunar atmosphere, gliding toward the mysterious base humans had conjured seemingly out of nothing. For the first time since entering this system, the seasoned Dominion commander felt something alien prickling at the edge of his instincts. Something he had not felt in a very, very long time. Radiation signatures flickered across Joraxel's console, strong, unmistakable, and impossible to reconcile with their earlier scans. Fusion output, he murmured, his tendrils tightening as he verified the data. Commander, the energy readings are consistent with advanced fusion power generation. This contradicts everything we believed about their capabilities. Valkras nodded slowly, his eyes narrowing. Interesting. Very interesting. The shuttle descended, touching down on the circular landing pad with unexpected grace. Through the viewports, the Dominion delegation could see the sprawling lunar installation ahead of them, interconnected domes and silvered structures gleaming under the harsh, unfiltered sunlight of the moon. Atmosphere secure. External temperature within tolerable parameters, the pilot announced. Local gravity artificially maintained, Joraxel whispered, awe creeping into his voice. Approximately 1 Earth standard. Commander, they've mastered gravity manipulation. He hesitated, then added, I'm beginning to think we've gravely underestimated these humans. Perhaps, Valkras conceded, rising from his seat with measured calm. Or perhaps they're merely adept at appearances. Either way, we'll know soon enough. He turned to his security detail. Weapons were readied but remained lowered. We are representatives of the Galactic Dominion. We will conduct ourselves with dignity. The shuttle ramp hissed open, revealing a pressurized corridor linking the landing pad to the main facility. Waiting at its threshold was a single human figure. Vraz was the first to step down, his towering form casting a long shadow over the small, soft-skinned creature before them. The human stood no more than 2/3 his height, fragile by every measure of their intelligence reports. Commander Valkras Tizoon of the Galactic Dominion, Vraz announced. The translation device at his throat rendered the alien's complex speech patterns into the most widely used human language. I come representing the combined might of 5,000 star systems. The human's smile was startlingly wide, a display of flat, non-predatory teeth. Dr. Ara Patel, United Earth Diplomatic Corps, welcome to Luna Base Harmony. Her voice was warm, melodic. We've been waiting for someone like you for quite some time. Someone like me? Valkras asked, his tone edged with suspicion. Representatives of a greater galactic community? She clarified, still smiling. Please follow me. My colleagues are eager to meet you. As they moved through the corridor, Valkras studied the human closely. She moved with a calm confidence, showing not a hint of fear despite being surrounded by beings who could crush her with ease. "Your construction capabilities are impressive," Valkras said at last, gesturing to the sleek corridor. "To build a facility of this scale in mere days," Dr. Patel glanced over her shoulder. "Oh, we didn't build this in days, Commander." "Our scans showed no lunar installations prior to our arrival," Jaraxel interjected sharply. "Yes, they would have," she replied lightly, though her words carried an unexpected weight. "We simply chose to reveal this particular facility once you entered our system. It seemed the polite thing to do." Valkras exchanged a sharp look with Jaraxel, whose tendrils had gone rigid with surprise. The corridor opened into a massive dome-shaped chamber where several more humans waited. Unlike Dr. Patel, who wore a simple white uniform, these others were dressed in a variety of attire, some in formal wear, others in what appeared to be military uniforms, curiously lacking any visible armor. "Commander Valkras Tizun and delegation," Dr. Patel announced. "May I present the United Earth Contact Committee?" A tall, dark-skinned human stepped forward. "General Tafari Kulsi, United Earth Defense Force. This is a historic day for both our peoples." Vraz performed the Dominion's greeting gesture, a complicated movement of 3 appendages. "Indeed, the Dominion has encountered many species in its expansion, but none quite like yours." "I imagine not," said another human, shorter and bearing a ring of hair around his mouth. "Admiral Jackson Reed, Lunar Operations. We're something of an anomaly, as your scans have no doubt suggested." Jaraxel could no longer contain himself. "Our readings indicated a pre-spacefaring civilization still dependent on fossil fuels. Yet this facility suggests technological advancement far beyond that assessment." The humans exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. Then a woman with silver-streaked hair stepped forward. "Dr. Maya Rivera, Chief of Xenotechnology. To answer your unspoken question, yes, we have been deliberately maintaining a certain appearance to outside observers." A cold ripple moved down Valkras's spine. "For what purpose?" "Survival," General Kulsi stated simply. "Humanity learned long ago that appearing weak while being strong is far more advantageous than the reverse." "A deception," Valkras said, his voice hardening. "The Dominion does not look kindly upon deception." "Not deception," Dr. Patel corrected gently. "Strategic information management. We've had visitors before you, survey drones, automated probes, a few manned ships observing from afar. We allowed them all to see exactly what we wanted them to see." "And what is it you want us to see now?" Valkras demanded, suddenly aware of how far he was from the inevitable conquest. Admiral Reed's smile returned, a gesture Valkras was beginning to find profoundly unsettling. "The truth, or at least the beginning of it. Please join us in the conference room. We have much to discuss." The conference chamber was circular, a sleek table at its center. As the Dominion delegation took their seats, each adapted to their alien physiologies, holographic displays activated around the room, showing Earth, its solar system, and star maps extending far beyond. "Let me be direct. Commander," General Kulsi began once they were settled, "humanity has been aware of extraterrestrial civilizations for approximately 50 years. 50 years? Valkras's brow ridges rose. "Our first contact," Dr. Rivera said grimly, "was unfortunate." "Unfortunate?" Valkras pressed. "They came to conquer," she replied. "A species calling themselves the Harvex, insectoid, highly aggressive. They considered us livestock." Valkras's secondary eyes widened slightly. "The Harvex hive. They're a quarantined species, a Class 1 biological threat." "Not when they found us," General Kulsi said quietly, "and not before we learned what it takes to survive." The Dominion had quarantined the Harvex home system over 300 cycles ago. Everyone in the room knew that now. Admiral Reed gave a slow nod as he continued. But 150 years ago, despite the quarantine, they acquired interstellar capability and found Earth. They attacked without warning, without even the pretense of negotiation. Joe's eyes narrowed. "Yet your planet shows no signs of such an invasion." "That's because we annihilated them," Dr. Rivera said plainly. Completely. Their ships, their warriors, even their queen commander. We reduced their biological material to fertilizer for our crops. The statement silenced the room. VRA studied the humans closely, searching their faces for arrogance or exaggeration. He found none. The Harvex fleet was massive, Valker said slowly. At least 30 capital ships, equipped with technology far beyond what your species should have possessed a century and a half ago. Exactly, Dr. Patel replied. That's why, after defeating them, humanity decided to benefit from appearing far less advanced than we truly were. She leaned forward. The Harvex attack united our world in a way nothing else ever could. We realized the galaxy held many dangers, but also that those dangers would leave us alone if we appeared primitive, unworthy of conquest or even contact. A charade, Muax growled from behind Valker's. A survival strategy, General Kosi corrected evenly, and one that has served us well. It allowed us to advance our technology, expand throughout our solar system, and prepare for the day when we could engage in a more peaceful first contact. He inclined his head toward Valker's. We hoped the Dominion might represent such an opportunity. The Valkyra leaned back, his mind racing. If what these humans claimed was true, if they had indeed defeated a Harvex invasion fleet, then the implications were staggering. You understand, he said carefully, that I will require verification of these claims. Of course, Dr. Patel replied smoothly. We've prepared comprehensive documentation, including recovered Harvex technology and biological samples. We're also prepared to offer a tour of our actual lunar facilities, not just this diplomatic outpost, as a gesture of good faith. Actual facilities? Joraxel asked, his scientific curiosity overcoming the tension in the room. Admiral Reed tapped a control on the table. The holographic display shifted to reveal the far side of Earth's moon, showing a sprawling network of structures, tunnels, and massive shipyards. Luna City, he explained. Population approximately 3.5 million. It's our primary shipbuilding and research hub, one of 17 major off-Earth settlements across the solar system. Valker's primary heart skipped a beat. 17? Indeed, Dr. Rivera continued. Mars hosts 4 major cities. Venus supports 3 floating atmospheric colonies. Jupiter and Saturn have 7 combined mining and research stations. And we maintain 2 deep space outposts beyond Pluto's orbit. In total, our off-Earth population stands at approximately 42 million. The Dominion delegation stared in stunned silence. And your total military strength? Vax asked at last, his tactical instincts surfacing. General Nanosi's smile was faint, but unmistakably confident. That information remains classified, Officer Muax. Let's just say it's sufficient for our defense needs. Valkers drew a slow breath. I think the High Council will need to reassess its approach to your species. We hoped you'd say that, Dr. Patel responded. Humanity is ready to emerge onto the galactic stage, but as equals, not as subjects, specimens, or curiosities. You've concealed your true nature and capabilities for over a century, Valrad's observed, his tone tinged with respect. That is a remarkable achievement. Thank you, General Nanosi said with a slight bow. But the time for hiding is over. The real question now is, what kind of relationship will exist between humanity and the Galactic Dominion? Before Valkers could reply, a soft chime sounded. Admiral Reed glanced at a device on his wrist, his expression shifting subtly. Ah, he said, looking back at the Dominion delegation. It appears your ship has just detected our defense grid powering up. Please assure your first officer that this is standard procedure when we reveal our true capabilities. We intend no hostility. Defense grid? Valkers repeated, a cold ripple of unease passing through him. Dr. Rivera gestured toward the holographic display. Earth was now encircled by thousands of satellite-like objects pulsing with energy. Just a precaution, she said mildly. I believe your tactical officer would approve of our protocols. Your scans showed no such technology, Valrez said, his scaled form tensing. Dr. Patel's smile never wavered. As I mentioned, Commander, we've become very good at showing others exactly what we want them to see. On the display, The satellites formed a complex, interlinked web extending far beyond what should have been possible for a primitive species. Additional holograms revealed similar, though smaller networks around Mars, Venus, and several of Jupiter's moons. Impossible, Jorax whispered. The energy requirements alone are substantial, Dr. Rivera finished for him, but entirely manageable with our current technology. Tactical Officer Muax moved closer to Valkyr's, his armored posture radiating tension. Commander, I strongly recommend we return to the inevitable conquest immediately. This situation has become unpredictable. Valkyr's raised a restraining appendage. Not yet, officer. Our hosts clearly have more to reveal. He turned his massive head toward General Kosi. You've gone to extraordinary lengths to conceal your capabilities. Why reveal them now? Why to us? General Kosi folded his hands, his composure almost unnerving. Because the galaxy is changing, Commander. Our long-range probes have detected increasing Dominion activity in this sector. It was only a matter of time before you found us. We preferred to control the terms of that meeting and of this demonstration. Standard procedure. Valkyr's pressed. Partly, Admiral Reed answered smoothly. But it's also a message. Your ship's sensors are no doubt recording everything as we speak. We thought it fair to give you something worth analyzing. A soft chime echoed once more as Dr. Patel glanced at her own device, the conversation hanging in the air like a drawn blade. Admiral Reed glanced at the device on Dr. Patel's wrist as it chimed. It seems your first officer has raised shields and powered weapon systems, she remarked calmly. Understandable, but unnecessary. A chill ran down Valkyr's spine. You are monitoring our ship's internal systems? Only the power fluctuations, Dr. Rivera replied with a dismissive wave. Basic electromagnetic surveillance. Nothing invasive? Nothing invasive? Jorax repeated, his voice sharp with disbelief. You are reading power signatures through Dominion shields. That should be impossible. Perhaps for the technology you are familiar with, Dr. Rivera conceded. But humanity has had a century and a half to study Harvex systems and adapt them. Their mastery of quantum entanglement communication was particularly instructive. It allows us to penetrate conventional shielding quite effectively. Valkyr's regarded the humans with new eyes. Every moment of this exchange revealed capabilities that directly contradicted the Dominion's earlier assessments. If they could casually peer through Dominion shielding, what else might they be capable of? He chose his words carefully. It would benefit both our peoples if you shared more about your actual technological level. The Dominion prefers to negotiate from a position of accurate information. General Nikosi exchanged a glance with his colleagues before giving a single nod. That seems reasonable. Admiral Reed? Reed touched a control, and the holographic display shifted once more. This time it showed a vast timeline stretching across centuries, annotated with bursts of progress and moments of crisis. Following the Harvex incursion in 2125 by your calendar, Reed began, humanity entered what we call the Great Acceleration. Prior to that, we were indeed confined primarily to Earth, with only small footholds on our Moon and Mars. The Harvex changed everything. The display shifted to archival images, insectoid vessels descending from the skies, devastating cities with blistering firepower. They struck without warning. Without communication, Reed continued, his voice hardening, 7 major population centers were destroyed within the first hour. Billions died. Yet you prevailed, Valkyr's observed, both skeptical and intrigued. Through desperation, Dr. Rivera replied bluntly, and luck. One of their scout ships crashed intact in a remote region. From it, we salvaged technology that revealed a weakness in their hive network. They were bound to their queen by a neural frequency pattern. Once we understood that, we developed a targeted electronic pulse to sever that link. The warriors became disoriented, vulnerable, Muax finished, a flicker of professional respect in his tone. A sound tactical approach. It was messy, General Nikosi admitted. The disconnected warriors turned feral, attacking anything, including each other. The cleanup took nearly 2 years. But in that time, we recovered enormous amounts of their technology. Faster than light drives, energy weapons, shielding, materials beyond anything we had imagined. And rather than announcing your triumph to the galaxy, Valkyrs said slowly, beginning to understand, you concealed your strength. You chose to appear primitive. Precisely, Dr. Patel confirmed with a nod. We realized that if one hostile species could find us, others would too. But if we seemed technologically inferior, unworthy of conquest, they might leave us alone. So we played the part of an insignificant backwater world. Jorax's eyes glinted as the pieces aligned in his mind. All the while, you were incorporating alien advancements into your civilization. Correct, Admiral Reed said. We rebuilt cities underground or camouflaged them. We cloaked our space habitats. We expanded our industry in ways invisible to outsiders. We prepared, not just for survival, but for the day when contact might mean something more than war. And what were you waiting for? Valkyrs asked, genuine curiosity threading his voice. For the right moment, General Nikosi replied. For a meeting that might lead to something other than annihilation. The Harvex were conquerors, pure and simple. But your protocols, your structured approach to contact, suggested the Dominion might be different, capable of diplomacy. Valkyrs let out a harsh, rasping laugh. The Dominion has conquered thousands of worlds, General. We are not known for our gentle approach. But you have protocols, Dr. Patel pressed. Rules of engagement, procedures. That alone suggests a civilization with which negotiation is possible. And if we had simply attacked? Mox challenged. The humans shared another wordless glance. Then Reed tapped a new control. The hologram shifted again, revealing massive orbital structures positioned across Earth's solar system. These are our Thanot platforms, Reed explained calmly, named after our ancient god of peaceful death. 57 of them positioned at strategic points across the system. Each is capable of generating an energy burst powerful enough to disable or destroy a vessel the size of your inevitable conquest. The weight of silence crushed the room. You are bluffing, Mulvax muttered. But his voice lacked conviction. Such weapons would require impossible levels of power, Jorax argued. 0-point energy extraction, Dr. Rivera interrupted smoothly. A Harvex innovation, though they used it primarily for propulsion. We found other uses. Valkyrs studied the humans with a growing sense of respect. These frail-looking creatures had built an empire of shadows, hidden in plain sight. And now they were unveiling it. Why reveal your strength now? He asked at last. Why to us? General Nikosi leaned forward, his hands folded calmly on the table. Because isolation has served its purpose. Humanity has reached the limits of what can be achieved alone. We have secured our system, built our defenses, developed our technology. But true progress comes through cooperation, not secrecy. The Dominion spans thousands of worlds, with access to species and technologies we have never encountered. It is time for humanity to step onto the galactic stage. On your terms, Valkyrs said darkly. On equal terms, Dr. Patel corrected gently. We seek allies, not masters. Partnership, not subjugation. The High Council will not easily accept this, Valkyrs warned. They are accustomed to obedience, not negotiation. Then, perhaps, Admiral Reed said with quiet finality, it is time they adjusted their expectations. The words hung in the air like a drawn blade, heavy with both threat and promise. Patience radiated from Valkraz, commanding respect as he finally spoke. I propose a tour of your actual facilities. If what you claim is true, the High Council will require more than my testimony to reconsider its assessment of your species. General Nosi rose smoothly, his tone welcoming. Gladly. We have prepared transport to Luna City. From there you can witness the true extent of humanity's progress. The vessel that carried them was unlike anything Dominion intelligence had catalogued. Sleek and silent, it seemed to bend space-time itself, delivering them almost instantaneously to their destination. When the delegation emerged, they stood at the threshold of a colossal underground complex stretching for kilometers beneath the lunar crust. What greeted them was breathtaking. A vast cavern pulsed with life and order, thousands of humans moving with purpose among elegant yet functional structures. Overhead, An artificial sky, complete with drifting clouds, gave the illusion of standing beneath a living atmosphere rather than buried deep within the moon. "Welcome to Luna City Central," Admiral Reed announced proudly. "Population 3.5 million, our oldest and largest settlement beyond Earth." "Impossible," Jorax whispered, though his disbelief faltered. "Our scans revealed nothing of this scale." Dr. Rivera explained smoothly. "The city is hidden within a quantum displacement field. To conventional sensors, this appears as nothing more than mineral anomalies, another Harvex technology, refined by us." As the group moved deeper, the Dominion envoys passed hydroponic gardens, research wings, manufacturing hubs, and residential districts. Children played under the artificial sky, glancing at the aliens with little more than curiosity. "Your people seem remarkably unfazed by our presence," Valkraz observed. Dr. Patel nodded. "Humanity has grown up with knowledge of extraterrestrial life. For generations, we maintained public education about galactic species, even while concealing ourselves from those very species. To our children, you are unusual, but not shocking. They soon entered a vast shipyard. Gravity nullification fields held dozens of vessels mid-air, swarming with both human workers and machines. This is our interstellar fleet, General Nossi explained. Currently 307 ships, ranging from exploration craft to defensive cruisers. Not as massive as your war fleets, but designed for stealth and speed rather than brute force. Valkraz stiffened as the truth sank in. "You have been exploring beyond your system all this time, despite appearing planet-bound." "Of course," Admiral Reed replied matter-of-factly. "We've mapped nearly 200 light-years in every direction from Sol. We've established unmanned observation posts, surveyed 43 inhabited systems, including several of your own, and gathered data on hundreds of species. All without detection." A low whistle escaped Muvax, professional admiration coloring his words. "Impressive," General Nossi inclined his head. "We have faced dangers. Not every species is as disciplined as the Dominion. Some fire before asking questions." At last, they approached a heavily fortified chamber. Layer after layer of security sealed behind them until they entered a circular room with a single pedestal at its center. Resting atop it was a small black cube, no larger than a man's hand. Dr. Rivera's voice carried both pride and caution. "This is the culmination of 50 years of research and adaptation of Harvex technology. We call it the Prometheus device?" Jorax leaned forward, curiosity winning over apprehension. "What does it do?" Rivera smiled faintly. "It communicates. More precisely, it allows instantaneous, undetectable communication across any distance or barrier. It operates on principles of quantum states existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously, principles even we do not yet fully understand." "Impossible," Jorax objected. "Such a thing violates fundamental laws of physics." "As you understand them," Rivera corrected gently. "The Harvex touched upon these theories crudely. We refined them. With a network of these devices, our civilization can coordinate across light years instantly. That, Commander, is a decisive advantage." "A staggering strategic tool," Muvax muttered. General Nossi added evenly, "And one we are prepared to share with the Dominion, under suitable agreements. Imagine your 5,000 worlds operating without communication delay. The administrative benefits alone would be revolutionary." Valkraz studied the unassuming cube. If the humans spoke truth, this device could transform the very nature of Dominion power. He asked the question he already knew the answer to. "And in exchange?" "Recognition," Dr. Patel said simply. "Formal acknowledgement of Earth and its colonies as an independent power, equal to the Dominion, not subject to it. Trade, cultural exchange, open diplomacy, the standards between civilized nations." "The High Council does not recognize equals," Balk snapped. "Only subjects, or enemies." Admiral Reed's voice remained pleasant, but the steel beneath it was unmistakable. "Then perhaps it is time for that policy to evolve. Humanity will not be subjugated. We have prepared too long, too carefully. Tension coiled in the chamber until it was broken by a sharp chime from Reed's wrist device. He glanced down, then looked up calmly. "It seems we have a situation. Your first officer has dispatched reinforcements, 3 destroyer-class vessels by our readings." Alarm surged through Valkraz. "I gave no such order. Evidently, Officer Polar is concerned for your safety," one of the generals observed, expression unreadable. "Understandable, but potentially problematic." "I must contact my ship immediately," Valkraz said, reaching for his communicator. Dr. Patel's eyes narrowed slightly. "By all means, though you should know." Admiral Reed's voice was calm, but its weight carried unmistakable authority. He explained that the human defense grid had already locked onto the approaching Dominion reinforcements. "Standard protocol," he added, almost conversationally. "I'm sure you understand." Within moments, communication was established with the inevitable conquest. First Officer Polar's voice came through the link, sharp with urgency. "Commander, the High Council has received our preliminary reports and has dispatched additional ships to secure this system. They have ordered immediate subjugation protocols for the human homeworld." Valkraz felt the sinking weight of inevitability press against his chest. He spoke firmly, his secondary hearts pounding. "Countermand those orders, Polar. The situation here is far more complex than you realize." Regret edged Polar's reply. "I cannot, Commander. These orders come directly from High Counselor Drazek himself. The destroyers will arrive within 30 minutes. A full battle group has already been dispatched, arrival estimated in 6 standard days." The communication ended, leaving silence heavy in the chamber. Valkraz turned toward the humans, who had clearly overheard everything. His voice was heavy. "It seems events are moving faster than anticipated." General Nossi did not flinch. His composure was startling, even admirable. "Indeed, Commander, but not unexpectedly. We have prepared for this very scenario. The High Council does not yet understand what they are facing." Valkraz's voice grew taut. "They believe they confront a primitive race, easy to conquer." Dr. Patel's gaze was steady. "And you know differently. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge?" Conflict roiled within Valkraz. His duty was to serve the Dominion, to ensure the subjugation of new species. Yet every moment spent in the presence of these humans undermined the simplicity of that mission. Their technology was advanced, their resolve unwavering, and their restraint calculated. Subjugation would not end in victory. It would end in catastrophe. At last he spoke. "I propose direct communication between your leadership and the High Council. If they could see what I have seen—" "An excellent suggestion," Admiral Reed agreed smoothly. "But first, there is the matter of the destroyers. They will arrive before dialogue can even begin." "Then a demonstration," General Lancose interjected, his eyes narrowing with resolve. "Something to make the High Council reconsider its course." Dr. Rivera activated a control on her wrist. "The Artemis Protocol has been authorized. Minimal force configuration." Alarm flashed across Valkraz's face. "What are you planning?" "Demonstrating why subjugation is unwise," Admiral Reed answered evenly, "in the most controlled manner possible. No loss of life, I assure you." Dr. Patel gestured toward a display screen. "You may wish to observe this, Commander. It will be most instructive for your report." The screen revealed the expanse of space at the edge of the lunar system. 3 Dominion destroyers appeared as hard points of light against the void, advancing in flawless attack formation. "Defense grid activating," intoned an automated system. "Targeted suppression pattern engaged." From Earth's orbit, a dozen satellites detached from the grid, accelerating with almost impossible speed toward the destroyers. Within moments, they had surrounded the Dominion ships. "What are those?" Jaraxel asked, his scientific curiosity eclipsing his unease. "We call them nullifiers," Dr. Rivera explained. "They generate a localized field that temporarily disrupts certain energy signatures, specifically the ones that power Dominion systems." On the display, the satellites pulsed with blue light. Instantly, the destroyer's systems failed. "Propulsion! Weapons! Shields! All powered down, leaving the mighty warships drifting helplessly in the void." "You disabled them," Muvax whispered. His voice was thick with a mix of horror and reluctant admiration. "Precisely," General Nosy confirmed. The effect lasts 6 hours. No damage, no casualties, just a pause. Time for reason to prevail. Valkraz's eyes narrowed. This technology, it could disable the entire battle group when it arrives. Yes, Admiral Reed admitted, though we would much prefer not to demonstrate that necessity. Diplomacy is always preferable to war. Valkraz stared at the darkened Dominion destroyers on the screen, then at the small black cube resting quietly on its pedestal, the Prometheus device. In a single day, humans had revealed a hidden city, neutralized a Dominion fleet, and demonstrated technologies that bent the laws of physics. And they had done so with restraint, emphasizing peace over conquest. His voice came low, decisive. I must speak with the High Council, immediately. Dr. Patel inclined his head. We can establish a direct link through the Prometheus device. Real-time, undetectable, uncensorable. The High Counselor will see and hear everything you choose to convey. The device glowed with soft blue light. Valkraz straightened to his full imposing height, arranging his appendages in the formal posture of a Dominion officer reporting. His voice was clear and unwavering. High Counselor Drazek, he began, our initial assessment of the species known as humans requires immediate and complete revision. He recounted everything: the sprawling lunar city, the hidden fleets, the Prometheus device, the nullifiers that had effortlessly silenced 3 Dominion warships. Visual feeds streamed alongside his words, undeniable proof of what he claimed. I strongly recommend, he concluded, that subjugation protocols be suspended. The humans have demonstrated extraordinary capability and a clear preference for peaceful resolution. They extend the hand of alliance rather than submission. This is not a threat to be crushed. It is an opportunity to be embraced. For a long moment, silence reigned. Then the voice of High Counselor Drazek emerged from the device, measured and wary. Commander Valkraz, these claims are extraordinary. Are you certain this is not deception? I have witnessed it with my own eyes, Valkraz replied firmly. So have my officers. And the disabling of our destroyers is easily verified. Another pause, longer this time. Finally, Drazek spoke. Very well. The subjugation protocols are suspended. The battle group will hold at the system's edge until further orders. You are authorized to begin preliminary alliance discussions. The connection closed. Valkraz turned to the humans, the weight of history shifting in the air. It seems the so-called weakest species in the galaxy has accomplished what no other has managed in thousands of cycles. You have made the Dominion reconsider. Dr. Patel allowed a small smile. Perhaps not so weak after all, Commander. No, Valkraz admitted, his voice filled with a new respect. Not weak, patient, and perhaps wiser than most. General Nosy stepped forward, extending his hand, a gesture Valkraz had learned signified agreement. To new beginnings, Commander, and to proving that the strongest voice is often the one that waits until the right moment to speak. Valkraz extended an appendage, completing the gesture. Indeed, General. Though I suspect the galaxy will be listening very closely to humanity from now on. Admiral Reed's smile widened, edged with something predatory. Listening? Oh, Commander, humanity is just getting started.